So I am at a crossroad and I have decided to take one of those roads, and that is to stand up and make people aware of something I experienced yesterday. I am a parent, I have children. I experienced something the other day that threw my world for a loop, and it's based on a lot of the things that we're dealing with in our community, and I just want to make parents aware because this happened to me and I was in shock, absolute shock when it happened. So if you're not aware by now, I am in support of the Save Our Children movement, and that is what this is about, and how the pedophile ring was shown to me right in front of my face. I have been doing a lot of research over the past month or more, maybe 2 months, just trying to protect my kids. I found out that there is a very large industry for child sex trafficking, child trafficking, human trafficking, and it's an $85 to $90 billion a year industry, which is who is profiting from child sex trafficking? Where is that money going? That's where it's like my head just is like going off. And so what do? I start doing my research, and my whole motive is to be like, I don't want my kids unsafe. How can I be safe? So I found out there is a code amongst pedophiles, and it is the intent is no different to guise their actions in the way that child molesters do, where they don't refer to the body part as the body part. The female anatomy, I've heard, called a pocketbook, a hoo-hoo, like different names. So that way when the victim talks about their experience, it takes away from the importance because they're not using the actual word for their anatomy. And that's kind of what these codes are for, in a sense, because these codes are food. It's food. They use food to categorize and label and symbolize what you're looking at. Pizza is for girls. Hot dogs is for boys. Pasta, I think, is also boys. It's there. I know sauce is for orgies. So, I learned this information. I go on with life, and, I still have to go out. I still have to do things, be safe, wear my mask. So I go to Walmart, and that's where the story gets crazy for me. I go to Walmart the other day, and I walk in to the Walmart on Route 40 in Baltimore, Maryland. I don't even get halfway to like the freezer section, and as I'm walking, I notice this little boy in a face mask that has a huge pizza slice on the side of it, and it said Pizza King on the other side. And I'm walking, and I'm like, with everything that I know, did I just see a billboard for a pedophile? And like my brain is frazzled because I know what that means to pedophiles, but then, does this little boy just like pizza? Because in society we are so trained to just keep walking and not do anything. And I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. What if that little boy that I was seeing in that pizza mask was being trafficked? And it just pulled at me, and I just couldn't. So I was like, how can I get a picture? I was like starting a covert operation right there in the Walmart because I wanted to know the truth about it, and I knew I could figure that out right there. But how? So I'm trying to get pictures or some, I don't know what the heck. I'm trying to figure out how I can get closer to them and understand. I just had this sense. I just could not walk away. And so what I came up with was I was walking by them with my shopping cart, and I just said directly to the two women that were with this child, "That's an interesting face mask." And they froze, and they stepped towards each other, and they looked down, and I froze because why did you freeze? Because that means it's, and then it blew my mind. It blew my mind, and the lady behind me thought I was trying to butt in line, and I was like, wow, it is real, wow. And they were looking at me like, are you gonna, what are you gonna do? And then they chimed in on that lady with me cutting in line, like making it about that. And I just kept walking. It was just affirmation at that point. Even further, had I done something in the wrong way, had I not done that in the right way, that could have turned out bad. I could have, possibly, snatched that kid myself because I didn't know. And what would that have looked like to the media, where a white woman is attacking these black people in a Walmart? The media is not going to tell you why I was standing there frozen because of what I saw. So I called the police, and there is an investigation. In regards to the police and that, my concern in the store at Walmart was causing a scene. And it was like, how do I draw attention to this? And this goes into what I was saying about not calling it by the right name. It just nullifies it. It just makes it non-important. And so what am I supposed to do? I see this little boy with the pizza mask, and I know there's some affiliation, and I'm worried for this little child, and it's my right to, call the police and draw attention to it. But then I was like, what am I going to tell them? I see a little boy with a face mask on that's got pizza on it. He's being child trafficked. Come get him. Like, do you see how crazy that sounds? And that's part of their plan. That's exactly why they don't call it what it is. If people were walking up and saying, can I have that little boy so I can take him out back and have my way with him? Like, it has to be a code. The general population is not acceptant of pedophilia. It has to have a code to operate under radar. When I was calling the police, I was like, how do I even explain this? Do they even know? Sure enough, they did. And I didn't know if that was even worse, because they do know. And then it's like, wait a minute, so our law enforcement knows. Why isn't that in our media? Why aren't parents being warned about this pedophile code that they know? And then I was like, oh, because no different than when I walked up to those people, I let them know I know. So guess they can change that game. And if you know military tactic, when in Rome, Trojan horse, you've got to, do what they do, act as they are, become friends with them even, infiltrate their circle. I mean, that's like, the art of war. But that's a tactic of theirs, to just create that static and that miscommunication. But when the police had told me that they knew about it, they're getting calls about it, immediately I was just like, I'm not crazy. What I did was right. That day in Walmart, like I said, it was just something in me that I could not move forward without confronting this myself and finding out for myself. And that's what you need to do. You need to find out for yourself, protect your children, protect your family, and get aware that pedophiles are all around us, hiding in plain sight. But the thing that shocked me the most, that I've learned the most, is that another trick of the pedo trade is to dress the child as the opposite sex. So they are raised as a little boy with obviously girl parts. And it dawned on me, I saw pizza on the little boy's face mask. And that meant I wasn't looking at a little boy. I was looking at a little girl who was dressed up like a little boy with a face mask. And that's what makes it easier for these sick fucks to get these kids around. And the other part is, if we're all home, quarantined, how can we see this? How can we be out there seeing this if we're told to go home and stay in our homes? How can we save our children? It's by speaking out. It is by looking crazy. I would rather look crazy for a day than allow that child to continue to live the way that child lives. And that's what people are trained to do. They're trained to stay in their bubble and not look at things. And that's how we can end this, by not doing that. We have to recognize what we're seeing and speak up. And there's ways to do it. And you know what? I thought about it afterwards, and not that I recommend doing it, but in just hindsight, I felt as though I should have walked up to them and told them that I love pizza too. Pizza's wonderful. Do you guys like pizza? And then seen their reaction. Like, I messed up saying it the way I did. Like, I know I got the body language and the vibe and, yeah, that is undeniable. But I wonder what their response would have been had I played right into their game. That probably would have landed me in jail. That's why I didn't do that. So I'm just trying to raise awareness, and I hope everybody understands how real this is. I'm going to give you some numbers. Annually, 1.5 million children go missing globally. 1.5 million children. They're not resurfacing. It's 1.5 million children who disappear. That doesn't include kids that are found. They don't get to be a part of the ones that are missing. And that's globally. Here in America, 800,000 children go missing a year. Missing. Yes, I'm sure small numbers resurface. What is happening to the rest? What is happening to children all over our globe that are just being sucked in to this evilness, and then they're just gone? I can't stay silent. I can't live in a world that accepts this is not as important as it is, that we should be putting other initiatives above our children, like oil or the Taliban or the war on drugs. It's our children. All are important, but our children are who are in need right now. So please share, comment. I'm just really trying to raise awareness about Save Our Children, and share my experience, and hopefully in the end bring all loving and caring and compassionate adults together for this cause. Thank you, and I love all of you.